What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so this is something that I saw. Oh, before I go into this video, I want to give a shout out to the brother, the man, the myth, the legend, the brother Robert Mason, coming through with the donation to the channel via the PayPal. Much respect to you for showing love to Too Raw for TV. All right, so this is something that I saw. And maybe I'm missing something. You guys can fill me in. But I saw that Vince Carter, Hall of Famer, will have his Nets jersey retired in a home game for the Nets against the Heat on January 25th. All right, so it'll be on January 25th, 2025. Vince Carter, who played 5 seasons for the Nets, will have his jersey retired. And look, I'm not making this video to hate on Vince Carter. I think that for a while, he was the most exciting show in basketball, especially in the early 2000s. He was the most exciting show. He was the guy that the NBA was priming to be their next star. But he, although a great player, just didn't have that drive to be, or did he want to be in that position? He didn't have the drive to be at that level, as far as almost an insane work ethic to be on that level of greatness. And he wasn't comfortable being in that position. And we all know the man who took that mantle was Kobe Bean Bryant. And the rest was history. Look, I'm not trying to hate on Vince Carter, man. I'm not. I really am not. But I just don't see his contributions to the Nets being Raptors worthy. And when I say Raptors, I'm saying rafters, not Raptors. I just don't see his jersey being raised up with the other greats. Now, I think his jersey will be the 5th jersey retired in the Nets history. He will have joined Buck Williams, number 52. Julius Erving's number 32. Of course, Julius Erving played for that franchise when they were in the ABA. Bill Melchione's 25. He also played with them in the ABA. And Super John Williamson's number 23. All right. And Drazen Petrovic. Okay. The other ones I understand. Vince's, I don't get it. I don't understand why they're retiring his jersey. I will understand Brook Lopez when that day occurs for him. Okay, I'll get that because of his contributions and his longevity with that franchise. But Vince Carter, I get that he averaged 23 points a game. 3 times he was an all-star. But when we think of Vince Carter, do we really think of him as a net? You know what I mean? Like, we think of him as a Raptor. That's who we think of. Now, toward the second half of his career, he was a journeyman. The Nets years were the last years in which he was a superstar or all-star level player, but the last 2 years he was not an all-star. When he was there, and this is another reason why I don't know if his jersey should be retired. I think this is happening too often, man. It's getting to a point where everybody's jersey is getting retired. If you just, you know what I'm saying, hit a couple of game winners or made an all-star team, now your jersey is being retired because everybody wants to be honored with something. Remember, and this is why I'm so pissed off about this to a certain extent. Well, I won't say pissed off, but I'm perturbed by it. The Los Angeles Lakers had to be browbeated by the people like myself and others to finally retire George Mikan's number. who was just, I don't know, the most dominant fucking player in basketball in the 1950s. They've just retired his jersey last year. The man had been dead for almost 20 years. Uh, he hadn't played basketball in 70, and you're just retiring his jersey. And in my opinion, they still need to retire Vern Mickelson's and Jim Pollard's jerseys. If you do your research, you'll see why I'm talking about that. They were key members of that Minneapolis Lakers dynasty. They need to retire their jersey. And if you go at that's Minnesota, well then why are the Nets retiring New Jersey Nets players when they're in Brooklyn? There, that's the logic you use. Remember, one of the main reasons why they acquired Vince was because the Nets needed star power because they had just lost Kenyon Martin, who you could argue he's clearly not on the same level as Vince as a player, but his contributions as a Net, I would say, were more significant. They went to back-to-back NBA Finals when he was there. And his best years, in my opinion, were with the Nets. You can make an argument that his jersey should be retired before Vince Carter's. I would argue that Billy Paultz, who played for the Nets when they were in the ABA, when they were the New York Nets, I would argue, and at first they were the New Jersey Americans the first year of the ABA. I would argue Billy Pault's jersey should be retired more. Like Vince Carter, he was a three-time All-Star. Like Vince Carter, he averaged, he played 5 years with the franchise. I think he averaged like 16 and 11 with the Nets in the ABA. His jersey should be retired, right? He's older. It's more long overdue. Vince's number should be retired by the Raptors. That's who should retire his jersey. And I have no argument with that. But also remember this. Remember, Vince left the Raptors in an unhonorable situation. Remember, the Raptors, they got kind of tired of him. Remember, there were allegations, and he admitted it, that he was dogging it. He wasn't giving his all as a player. Remember that? He admitted that he was, in essence, semi-low managing. And they traded him. They traded him to, I think it was early in 2004-05 season. They traded him to the Nets. And part of it was because the Nets needed a star. They needed a star to put asses in the seats. And while individually he did put up good numbers, and the Nets did have a winning record with him. I think they won 51% of the games while he was a Net. He clearly did not elevate that team. They went down. They went from being one of the better teams in the NBA with Kenyon Martin there, and one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference, most definitely, to being more of a second-tier team. The top teams started becoming the Pistons, and of course, I would say the Heat. But then the Nets, who went to back-to-back finals in 02 and 03, they became a team that would, maybe go something like 44 and 38, maybe get in the first round, maybe miss the playoffs. That was pretty much the Nets in the in the Vince Carter era. I don't know, man. I just don't see a Hall of Famer. And for all I don't see a guy whose jersey should be retired. And for all of this adds credence to my point that if we're getting to this point, then the Bulls should seriously consider retiring Dennis Rodman's number. I mean, it ain't like anybody going to wear number 91 any fucking way. And he was an all-star every year, and they won a championship every year. No, he wasn't. I take it back. He wasn't an all-star every year. He wasn't an all-star any of those years. I take that back. He wasn't an all-star, but he was an all-star level player. He was, matter of fact, was he an all-star any of those years? I think Dennis was an all-star just twice. Yeah, 90 and 92. So he wasn't an all-star in 96, 97, 98. He wasn't. But he won a championship every year. He was a huge contributor to those championship teams. Led league in rebounding each year. He played elite defense each year. In his 3 years with Chicago, he averaged 5.2 rebounds. Excuse me, 5.2 points, 15.3 rebounds. What is that? 2.8 assists, 5.5 offensive rebounds, almost 10 defensive boards a game. I mean, you can argue that hell, the Bulls should retire Dennis Rodman's jersey. Yeah, but I just don't see it, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something, man. Maybe I'm missing something. But when I remember Vince being with the Nets, I remember he wasn't as exciting to watch because he was transitioning to being more of a jump shooter. Still a great player, but he clearly was not a guy capable of putting that team on his back to win a championship, obviously, or even taking them deep to playoffs. I think he only played in 26 playoff games in those 5 years. So I don't know. I just don't see it. Jason Kidd, absolutely. His jersey should be retired. And has been retired by the Nets. Yeah. Julius Erving, no doubt about it. Drazen Petrovic, yes. Brook Lopez in the future, yes. Buck Williams, yes. As a net. Bill Malchione, absolutely. Okay. Super John Williamson, yeah. Am I missing somebody? I think that's it. Vince Carter? I don't know, man. I don't know, y'all. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Maybe I'm missing something.